Competitive, safe, and protected. Let us invest. I thank you all, and I wish you also a happy celebration.
I'm truly delighted to be joined by a senior colleague, Mr. Jallo. A round of applause for him. He's next. All right. We will move on to the next guest. And if he's not here, we will move on. Director General, Industrial Training Fund, Dr. Afiz Olu.
This gathering is not just another conference on our national calendar. It is a turning point in our collective quest to shape the future of the Nigerian workforce. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and in alignment with the renewed hope agenda, we are here to lay foundation for an industrial manpower framework that will power our economy, empowerment, and secure our nation's future. Why this summit matters? The renewed hope agenda is about transforming possibilities into realities and aspiration into tangible achievement. It calls for bold reforms, strategic investment, and the empowerment of Nigerians to take their rightful place in the global economy. Manpower development is the bridge between our abundant potential and productivity we seek. We have the resource, the talent, and the ambition. But without skills, adaptable, and innovative people, our industrial dream will remain unrealized. Our shared challenges, we cannot ignore the gaps, institutional overlaps that fragment our efforts, skills mismatch that leaves our graduates unprepared for industry, outdated training system that lag behind technological change, our reliance over foreign expertise, where Nigeria can and should excel. These are urgent issues that requires a coordinated national response, and that is why we are here. What we aim to achieve at NIMS 2025. Over the next 3 days, we will conduct an honest self-assessment of our industrial manpower capacity, identify and prioritize critical skills gap, strengthen industrial academia government partnership for manpower planning and training, produce actionable policies, recommendation for presidential consideration, commit to a unified manpower development framework for Nigeria. This summit will not end with speeches. It will end with a roadmap for action. A plan that will transform Nigeria workforce into a symbolic and symbol of quality, innovation, and global competitiveness. Look ahead. Our goal is to make Made in Nigeria like what Innocent Moto is doing, Chief Innocent, Chief Mrs. Ubilesi, and other, Chief Mrs. Okoli, the Enzo. We want to appreciate you all and other people, black and other stakeholders that are operating in Nigeria. We want to thank you and say, please keep it up. Thank you all. Follow the Vice President on his way to Calabar. The President of NAM remarked about the significance of this event. And he appreciated how remarkable it was. And I think for me, it's a testament to the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for always touching the right spots. It was very intentional of him to appoint for the first time an SSA in charge of industrial training and development. And so at this gathering, I believe what we're doing is a celebration of that fact. What we're doing is a realization of what the President's imagination was. I mean, there are moments in a nation's journey when history itself seems to lean forward. When history does so, what history does is to watch and see whether we will be able to take advantage of the opportunities before us. So for me, today in this hall, we stand at such a moment. The National Industrial Manpower Summit, for me, is not just a ceremony, it's not just another line in the calendar of events. For me, and I think for all of us, it is a crossroads where Nigeria elects whether to remain as a nation of vast potentials, often admired but underrealized, or whether our country is ready to step forward as a nation whose productivity matches its promise.
Competitive, safe, and protected. Let us invest. I thank you all, and I wish you also a happy celebration.
I'm truly delighted to be joined by a senior colleague, Mr. Jallo. A round of applause for him. He's next. All right. We will move on to the next guest. And if he's not here, we will move on. Director General, Industrial Training Fund, Dr. Afiz Olu.
The President will be represented by Minister of State for Industry. Ladies and gentlemen, their work in an informal setting, relevant agencies. After that, we have divided our training into two. Soft training center, just the way you have established private school. You will enjoy it. Now, at par with international standard, you will want to go for a home. This for prepare our people from our hub. We call it super.
She is an avid advocate for economic reform, ease of doing business, and the empowerment of Nigeria.
From Nigeria can go anywhere. Because that is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join me to
and bring this fast.
to train our workers.
The gap has existed for a period of time, and we now have to start to bridge the gap. And that plan will hopefully be carried forward with specific.
In the interest of time, please allow me to rest on the very well adumbrated protocols. Ladies and gentlemen, particularly the private sector, I know labor is here as well. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm especially pleased to be here today among partners who have had the privilege of working and engaging over the years with to build the momentum of last month's Domestic Investment Summit hosted by the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, with a focus on the Nigeria First agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I would especially like to commend the conveners of this summit, the Presidency, and the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Industry, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Let me especially commend Senator John Owen Enor, a man on a mission, traversing the length and breadth of the country, pushing the industrialization mandate of the Renewed Hope agenda. I also want to commend Honorable Adamson Oluwatosin Ayinde, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Industrial Training and Development, a man who has been quietly focused on his assignment with uncommon energy and collaborative spirit for prioritizing the development of our industrial manpower. National manpower is a key ingredient for attracting and retaining domestic investment for industrialization to accelerate Nigeria's economic development. Therefore, today's gathering offers a timely opportunity to deepen our conversation and lay out bold, actionable strategy for a more resilient economy. Nigeria's path to accelerating industrialization, economic diversification, and export-led growth is clear as a mandate of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, firmly anchored in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 8-point Renewed Hope agenda. It's actually item number 7, you can check it, which lays out our blueprint for building a stronger, more productive, competitive, and inclusive economy. To achieve this ambition, we are building a firm foundation of domestic support, benefication of our local raw materials, developing the skills, talent, and innovation ecosystem that will power our transformation to our $1 trillion economy. In the spirit of the Nigeria First policy, we are on a deliberate push towards economic sovereignty, local value creation, and national prosperity. This means prioritizing domestic production, reducing import dependency, deepening value chains, equipping our youth for global competitiveness, and building resilience from within. To accelerate this momentum, we require massive investment in critical infrastructure, addressing critical national priorities in food, energy, manufacturing, infrastructure, housing, as well as energy systems, digital connectivity, transformation, and the social sectors, including health, education, water sanitation, and human capital development. To achieve this, we require at least $1.3 trillion annually in financing, mobilized from domestic resources, capital markets, private investments, concessional finance, and foreign direct investment. The urgency is clear. Africa and Nigeria must attract capital at scale. With traditional aid flows declining and concessional financing tightening, Nigeria, with its size, resources, and entrepreneurial energy, is uniquely positioned to lead Africa's transformation. Our path to industrial transformation rests on 6 pillars. A large and dynamic consumer market, over 220 million people, the largest youth population in Africa, and by 2030, a significant share of Africa's $2.5 trillion consumer market. Producing more of what we consume will save foreign exchange, create jobs, and strengthen the naira. Agricultural sovereignty and leadership. Fertile land and vast potential for agro-industrialization. The agro-allied industry already contributes 25% to GDP and employs a third of our workforce. With Africa's food and agriculture market projected at $1 trillion by 2030, Nigeria can lead in agro-processing, agri-tech innovation, and value-added exports under the AFCFTA. Critical minerals for the future. From limestone and bitumen to gold, lithium, and rare earth elements, Nigeria holds resources vital for the global energy transition. Local refining, smelting, and manufacturing will enable us to export finished components for electric vehicles, batteries, and high-tech manufacturing. Urbanization as an economic driver. Lagos is set to become Africa's largest city by 2030. Urban growth will drive demand for housing, infrastructure, and industrial goods, creating opportunities in construction, building materials, and technology-enabled housing solutions. Regional market integration. With Nigeria at the spare point of AFCFTA's implementation, Africa's $3.4 trillion market offers Nigeria an unprecedented opportunity to expand its manufacturing base. By creating a single liberalized market, the AFCFTA allows Nigerian industries to access a huge market, 1.4 billion people, fostering economies of scale. It also helps the prioritizing industrial clusters, export processing zones, and value chain integration. We can position ourselves as the preferred production destination for West Africa and beyond. Finally, the manufacturing industry already contributes 9.6% to Nigeria's GDP and employs over 13 million Nigerians in sectors such as food processing, cement production, textiles, pharmaceuticals, and automotives. This sector has the capacity to absorb Nigeria's large youthful workforce. To cut the over $10 billion annual import bill on manufactured goods and significantly raise the share of non-oil exports, an opportunity that we must seize as we drive sustainable growth. Just yesterday, I toured the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI campus, and saw an integrated model for innovation, manufacturing, and skills development, producing solar panels, assembling electric vehicles, building agricultural mechanization tools, and training engineers in cutting-edge technologies. Many leading stakeholders from the manufacturing sector are present in the audience today. I thank you for your years of hard work and your years of investing and reinvesting in your factory workers. Please continue to do more. Let us act collectively. Let us invest boldly. Let us build our skilled manpower creatively. The time for Nigeria's industrial transformation is now. Thank you for your attention. Good morning.
Responsibility that I deliver these remarks at this National Industrial Manpower Summit, a platform designed not just for dialogue, but to forge a unified direction on skills development, certification, and industrial manpower planning, an intervention our dear country is in urgent need of. As the world evolves at an unprecedented speed, from white-collar jobs to blue-collar jobs, there is a global heavy reliance on skills development, a driving force that requires manpower to strive. Nigeria must align with this drive to equip its citizens with skills that are relevant, adaptable, and future-ready within the national mandate and the renewed hope agenda of our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, with a view to tackling unemployment nationwide. Distinguished participants from ministries, departments, and agencies, state governments, and the private sector, as well as all these agencies engaged in parallel skills development space, we should all note that whereas each player's effort is commendable, overlaps in mandates and uncoordinated interventions sometimes dilute impact, giving rise to duplicated programs which create critical skills gaps.
International standard, you will want to go for your own. This will prepare our people from our hub. We call it super.
She is an avid advocate for economic reform, ease of doing business, and the empowerment of Nigeria.
That is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join me to
bring this fast to train our workers.
We have as existed before, and we now have to start to bridge the gap. And that plan will hopefully be carried forward with specific.
Kindly take your seats, please. My colleagues in the Federal Executive Council, the Ministers of Labor and Productivity, the Minister of Investment, and the Minister of State for Investment, the Permanent Secretary, heads of government agencies and parastatals, members of the security establishment, Your Royal Highness the Alapin of Oyo, members of the diplomatic corps, members of the business community, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. For a nation with a median age of about 17, Nigeria is an incredibly young country. This usefulness is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. We must make our young people not just a demographic statistic, but a central component of our policy-making process. This is why we have rolled out programs to address the deficits in our human capital, knowing that the quality of our people will determine the quality of our future. This gathering, therefore, is an avenue to compare notes, interrogate ideas, and reflect on the road ahead of us. Nigeria's greatest asset is neither its mineral wealth nor its geography. Our greatest asset is our people. This reality imposes a duty on us. While we fail to invest in these prized resources, the consequences will be dire. An improvement in human capital, along with infrastructure and sound policy, is the bridge between development and setback in every nation. We cannot afford to divest from our people because the world will not pause to wait for us. This summit speaks directly to the dilemma that has held this nation to ransom for far too long. It is an opportunity to confront the difference between our economic aspirations and our current realities, and to take stock of what we have done to unplug the Nigerian youth from the despondency of the past. Our mission is to align the education and training of our young people, and indeed the larger workforce, with the needs of industry. We must reverse the mismatch between what our institutions produce and what our economy requires. This cannot be realized unless we foster robust collaboration between the public and private sectors to prepare young Nigerians for the demands of today's job market. These disruptive technologies of our time bring both opportunity and danger. The danger is to be caught unprepared by the wave of change that has already transformed the world. We live in an era that demands a constantly evolving workforce, and if we fail to act now, we risk widening the skills gap and missing out on the transformative benefits of industrialization. We cannot survive in the changing world unless we are prepared to produce sufficient skills for the jobs of the new technological order. Nigeria must build local capacity, invest in technical education, and elevate the status of vocational and industrial training. Welders, machinists, technicians, software engineers, and factory operators must be seen for what they truly are, builders of our economy. They must be treated with the dignity, respect, and opportunity they deserve. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this summit is not just a forum for discussion. It is a call to produce actionable recommendations that will form the basis of Nigeria's first ever National Industrial Manpower Development Policy. I assure you that this administration will review, adopt, and implement viable proposals with urgency. Our first point of call is to ensure that the town and gown are bound by a shared vision, a reality in which knowledge serves the redemption of mankind and not empty intellectual indulgence. We must bridge the gap between training institutions and employers. Industry must help shape curricula. Graduates must emerge with both theoretical knowledge and hands-on experience. We can only guarantee this where there is reliable data. That is why we must prioritize an industrial skills database to guide our industry-led apprenticeship programs and sector-specific manpower development roadmaps. We cannot achieve this without formidable partnerships and alliances. We must count on agencies such as the Industrial Training Fund, the Nigeria Social Investment Insurance Trust Fund, the Bank of Industry, and others to align their interventions. The private sector must not only participate but take ownership of workforce development initiatives. So I call on all participants, from honorable ministers to manufacturers, from academia to artisans, from governors to global partners, to see this summit not as a talk shop, but as a launchpad for decisive action. Let us commit to transforming the way we think about manpower and the picture of Nigeria's industrial economy. On this note, it's my singular honor and privilege, on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to declare open the National Industrial Manpower Summit 2025. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
And I crave your indulgence, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I will have to take my leave because I have another function to attend in Calabar. I crave your indulgence to kindly, Your Royal Highness.
Your Excellency, we'd like to take a group picture very quickly with all our royal fathers and distinguished guests on the front row. Yes, very quickly. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for bringing the kind words and the very reassuring words of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, for reassuring us this morning. And we're excited about the next 3 days and, of course, the results of all the conversations that we'll be having here at the National Industrial Manpower Summit for 2025. Press and media, once you have it, please allow the Vice President exit as he has some equally important assignments to attend to. Thank you so much. A round of applause for the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as he exits this august occasion.